It's up, patch notes are up. Before you freak out about any change, think about the changes holistically as a whole rather than just them as a vacuum, you know, like as your one specific change. Here we go. Taking a look at defensive techniques that can change a fight too significantly when the player gets a correct read. Some attacks with invincibility and low risk techniques that allow for side swapping. We also take a look at how some characters crouching heavy kicks work, making it easier to punish. Mostly Ken and Akuma are the two that I think of. Adjustments to jump cancels. We made adjustments so that characters cannot avoid a normal throw by using techniques that cause the character to leave the ground and then follow up with a special move as a counterattack. Okay, with this iteration of Street Fighter, techniques that offered big returns against normal throw would be adjusted for balance by doing things like adding scaling, but the above method technique is very difficult to adjust for each and every move. For that reason, we've opted for this global change instead, which is part of the overall plan to tune down certain aspects of the game. We feel this is a necessary step to enable more aggressive offensive strategies. Basically, when you knock down Zangief and you pull up on him, he's tap and parry or jump canceling SPD and you're just dying, right? Is their fear. The main jump cancels are Zangief and like Lily SPD. Also, this adjustment is only for normal throws. We believe that this technique didn't provide a huge advantage against command throws. Basically, jump cancel stuff is not as good against regular throw. It beats command throw. If a multi-hit attack is perfect parried, it can no longer be canceled from the second attack and on. I think it's saying the multi-hitting move can't be canceled, which is interesting. And then these are bug fixes. Oh, do I have to click? If I click this, is it gonna break? No. Does anybody have like a screenshot somewhere, like a screen grab maybe? Okay. We primarily looked at giving some of Luke's lesser used move more purpose. Or heavy punch, yeah, this shit's whatever. You don't really use it that much. For this reason, we've looked at increasing its forward distance. Standing heavy kick gives you more drive gauge. His target combo, oh, it has better frame advantage, nice. And then EX stand blast. Doesn't seem like it's changed that much. The second part, behavior on hit has changed so that it now produces a wall splat. That's cool sounding. Add an additional attack hitbox to the second attack that can only hit during a combo. For the light knuckle for consistency, second attack no longer has combo scaling added to it when it lands. Okay, so Luke got slightly more damage if he starts with medium flash knuckle, maybe new combo routing with his EX fireball. More damage is really good for him, I think. Imagine. Yeah, you can do level 1 if you're close enough, but the range is like, it's very easy to be wrong like this. This won't reach, I think. This is pretty far. Let's look at this. Oh, that is far. That's cool. Jamie changes. Jamie 1 hour gains some drive whenever he performs a technique that increases his drink level. When he's not at drink level 4, he oh, that's really, really, really good. This makes it easier for him to fight at the beginning of a round while also letting him manage his drive. Oh, that's a huge change. Like, it allows him to regain drive while like knocking you down. Standing heavy kick adjustment. Reduce the hurt box on the front legs during the attack startup. Dude, huge. That's really big. That means it low crushes, which is what I asked for. Crouching heavy kick. Reduce pushback on block. Yeah, that makes sense. Jumping heavy kick, change to a blowback knockdown on normal hit on a midair opponent. Doesn't mean he can juggle. Increase the distance move forward on the startup. This is the target combo where he steps back, right? EX Rekka, increase the blowback time when the first attack at drink level 4 hits mid-air. Oh, so you could not level 3 sometimes. This is a breakdance move. Expanded the hitbox on the fourth attack that only appears during a combo upwards. And then level 3, expanded it. Yeah, he has problems with his level 3 where it falls out. Wait, these are actually really good for him. Heavy kick low crushing and having more drive gauge alone are huge changes. Imagine you like, you know, you drive rush like this and now you have a whole entire bar to drive rush again. You see that? Dude, every time he throws you in the corner, look at how much drive gauge he builds. Oh, it's the later part. I mean, before it didn't have this at all. So the move is buff. Aki stuff. Standing heavy punch. More drive gauge. Heavy serpent lash. Reduce combo count, additional value, and toxic blossom triggers. Basically, if you get the poison pop, she can do more, right? Heavy cruel fate. If you hit a mid-air opponent with this, the height of their jump would determine if you could follow up, but this is difficult for players to judge. So now we've made the adjustment to ensure that heavy serpent lash will not miss. These are really nice buffs for her. Small, but useful. This is Marisa changes. We've made adjustments so that her heavy attacks and the chargeable aspects of them are easier to use. Reduce the necessary charge time and improve the charge attack's abilities across the board to give her stronger offense. That's really important. And because they're faster, they're harder to like react with tap parry. Crouching heavy punch. We've expanded the hitbox on the charge version and the throw her box before the attack no longer exists, making this a good strike option when trying to bait a throw escape. You get a bigger launch on punish counter. I wonder how big. It sounds like they want her charge normals to just juggle better in general. Down forward heavy, the target combo. Change the hit on the second effect to a knockdown. Increase the knockdown time by 10 frames. Should she get a safe jump maybe? Forward heavy kick charge, has less pushback on block, moves further forward. Gladius hold, expanded the follow-up hitbox upwards, but anti-airs more consistently, you can't fall out. Phalanx changed, has more active frames. Whoa. Expanded the mid-air hitbox after the attack by 1 frame. Expanded the attack hitbox forward. It goes further, so it gives you more drive gauge. And then expanded the super armor counter attack hitbox downwards, probably so you can't low profile the counter. She got some nice stuff. I think this Phalanx change is wild to me too. Akuma got nerfed. Let's read. Due to Akuma's great mobility and attacks, it was very difficult for opponents to choose the correct option to deal with him. He's more stable than intended, so we took a look at his abilities primarily in the neutral game. We slowed down his move speed when he moves backwards. Forward medium kick, increase the risk on it if it misses, so more recovery, I'm guessing. Window to cancel and a drive impact is faster, that's fine for him. It's a buff. Crouching heavy kick. Distance Akuma's pushback when a block is reduced. Pushback on block reduced. Drive gauge increase on this, on the dive kick. Expanded the forward hurt box during fireball, which is very big. EXDP does less damage. Knockdown time on hit increased by 1 frame from his Tatsu. Demon Raid updated to match other strengths of the technique so that the movement speed changes when jumping over his opponent. It was extremely difficult for opponents to guarantee themselves an attack upon landing. To remedy this, we've increased the landing recovery when he jumps over the opponent. He's still one of the best characters in the game now. It depends on how bad the back walk speed is. Oh, he is a heavy guy. I love that. Let's look at the recovery on this. Oh, that is very noticeable. You just couldn't see it because see how that's -6? 0. Let's check out Rashid. Standing heavy kick, more drive gauge. The run punch, right? This is the slide. 20% additional scaling because he could cancel this into super. Forward +2 kicks. Collision push block now disappears 2 frames later, so it's easier to hit him out of it. EX mixer, reduce blowback time when the final attack hits. Reduce blowback distance when the final attack hits. Increase the knockdown time by 5 frames when the final attack doesn't hit. Interesting. They didn't want him to be able to do level 2 after EXDP, basically, right? Level 1, advantage when cinematic is triggered on a grounded hit, change from +11 to +1. Oh, so it's slightly worse advantage. He's still quite good. He hasn't changed too much. Okay, let's see what they got for Terrence. Crouching medium punch on punish counter could combo to heavy power charge, but there were some ranges where it wouldn't connect, leading to drop combos. We've adjusted it so when attacking the main hurt box, heavy power charge is guaranteed to combo. Yeah, he kind of needs that. Medium power wave. To make it easier to use the zoning attack as compensation for the range on his normal attacks, the hurt box before the attack startup has been reduced. EX crack shoot and overdrive burn knuckles, super R2 to power gazer. There were times where a follow-up attack wasn't always guaranteed when these attacks hit opponent midair, so we've made it easier to combo. And then Power Gazer, we designed this attack so that people would have an easier time using it, but that also introduced times where it was performed with slightly incorrect inputs. Oh. The easy one, people would get it on accident. Change disadvantage on block from -1 to +1 on standing heavy punch. Wow, that's big. Updated so that his sweep hitbox that hits a grounded opponent is lower and can be absorbed by upper body super armor. Power Dunk. Updated the effects and hit sound on a clean hit. That's cool. Round Wave is 2 frames faster. Medium Crack Shoot is +3 on hit. Change behavior on a grounded counter hit from knockdown to hard knockdown. Drive gauge reduction on block is increased. Heavy crack shoot, more drive gauge damage. Change drive gauge reduction on block. EX crack shoot, reduce horizontal blowback on mid-air hits so you can combo more consistent. OD burn knuckle, same kind of thing. He's not probably that different besides the fact that all the crack shoots strip more drive gauge, but the standing heavy punch change is huge. This is how much drive gauge this strips. This is +1. Manon. Okay, let's see. Half circle back punch and quarter circle forward punch will gain more super R gauge according to her metal level. She also gains more drive gauge for her mid-range attack, which is quarter circle back heavy kick, and the close range medium target combo. I think giving her more drive gauge makes sense because she often spends drive gauges drive rushing and comboing a lot, and then she runs out of drive gauge really fast. Standing heavy kick. Change recovery on hit from -2 to +1. That's pretty good. The feint version, reduced by 2 frames, very nice for her movement through fireballs. Blowback distance on hit reduce makes her combos easier. These are nice changes from Manon. If you guys recall, right, Zangief got a bunch of changes in the patch. A lot of the biggest changes he got in the Season 2 patch was how he can build drive gauge. Building more super gauge on these means that it's more likely that she's able to cash out with level 2 for her juggles, but also level 3 earlier in the round, which is really important for the scaling changes that she got with her level 3 doing more damage on higher metals. I think we have the Kimberly changes back here, so we'll look at these. Slide. This attack was designed to nip at the opponent's feet, but even when it landed, it often left her at a disadvantage. Yeah, her slide's kind of whatever. To help in this, we made the recovery during active frames 1 through 4 fixed so that it no longer hits Kimberly will be at advantage. Forward heavy kick. This technique was slow and didn't have great hitboxes, making it easy to deal with, so we improved its hitbox to make it more usable in a fight. In addition to its better reach, it will also lose less to low-profile attacks. Finally, she now gains a lot of drive coming this attack, giving her an effective tool to replenish her drive gauge. Standing heavy punch, we've adjusted the range. This is something that I really thought she's needed since the game came out, which is like more range on her heavy punch. Crouching light punch is -1 instead of -2. Pretty nice. Change recovery on hit from +2 to +4 on her crouching light kick, so she can do crouching light kick, crouching light punch as a link. Her slide is now advantageous as long as it hits between active frames 1 through 4. The advantage on hit will always be +1, and on block will always be -5. If you whiff punish with slide, or you catch a whiff of slide at knockdowns, that's really interesting. That might be a nerf, no? Because before you could get a combo off from it, maybe. Elbow drop. Technique will now be performed at a certain elevation when the input is performed early during the upward arc of a jump before this technique can come out. So like if you hit it on the way up, it like always does it at like a certain activation point, right? Is what it sounds like. Arc step. Change the attack startup from 8 to 6 frames. Wow, it's way faster. This is to coincide with the overall technique being shortened by 2 frames. Oh, okay. Weird. I wonder if arc step will frame trap off of certain buttons. Oh, this is the follow-up, the kick during your arc step. It's to fix it so that it doesn't interact weirdly. Elbow. Change recovery and block from -5 to -4. Some characters might not be able to punish this very easily. That's very interesting. Oh, that works. Okay. This is nice. And then being able to do, this frame. That's pretty nice. Lily has more advantage on drive rush, crouching, light punch. This is a pretty big buff. 6 frames means that on drive rush, she's +10, which is huge. She can do her heavy, right? Forward, heavy, heavy, heavy. Change the hit advantage from the first attack +1 to +2. So on counter hit, you can combo, get more drive gauge, expanded the attack hitbox. She can probably use this in like juggles from further away now. They're trying to make this a little bit better. I don't know if that it matters. I don't know that this will matter either. The DP change, by having only the second hit of the attack hit a standing opponent in the middle of the stage, you can follow with crouching heavy kick or super. Whoa. That's interesting. This means anytime she hits you with like her lights, she's doing this to you. Like, doesn't this seem way better? Actually, isn't this a huge buff? JP, standing medium punch, more drive gauge. Bug fix, that doesn't really matter probably. Level 2, projectiles will now continue to remain on the screen when a normal throw hits for a punish count. So they buffed it if you parry his level 2 and he throws you. He probably gets the combo off of his level 2 if he throws you during it and you're parrying. That's scary. Juri. Standing heavy kick, change drive gauge increase. She gets more. And the chain combo version, she gets more. Crouching heavy punch, change the hit effect on mid-air punish counter to a spinning knockdown. Back heavy kick, more drive gauge. Chain combo, also more drive gauge. So she builds more during level 2s especially, right? And one more active frame on her Fuha. That's cool. Yeah, they didn't want you to be able to do crouching heavy punch in a Fuha and a juggle. Dee Jay. Medium heavy jackknife. Previously, we adjusted the range to reduce guaranteed counterattacks on the ground, but as an anti-air, it became less reliable than expected. To improve that aspect, we've extended the active frames of the attack and expanded the attack hitbox that only applies to mid-air opponents. Yeah, I thought this was a bad change originally, honestly. Normal overdrive waning move, which is the sway, right? Landing the normal version as a punish counter, attacks like heavy jackknife maximum are easier to land. Oh, and for the overdrive version, quick rolling sobot and double rolling sobot will now connect. Oh, whoa. Medium, medium, back heavy. We made it more difficult for opponents to respond by making it easier for a DJ to snap back with feint techniques. Invincible overdrive attacks are no longer guaranteed hits. Oh, they are buffing the feint on this. More drive gauge on knee. Wow, a lot. That seems pretty nice. Cool for DJ. Cammy. Overdrive cannon spike. The attack will no longer switch sides on hit. The quick start on the EX1 meant that its value as a side switch tool was too high. Side swapping with an invincible overdrive attack made the fight less enjoyable for the opponent and had an additional disadvantage of being difficult for Cammy to use when she's chasing down the opponent, hence the change. This is good for her in some scenarios and worse for her in a lot. EX cannon strike. We've updated the advantage once Cammy reaches a certain height and the attack lands on the first active frames. On hit, the situation is now a 50-50 and you're not guaranteed a follow-up attack unless cannon strike hits for a punish counter. You can still follow up with an attack, but lift upper no longer hits, making it more difficult to land this during a side swap. She gets to do jabs and stuff, right? Is 0 without punish counter, and on block is now -2. So that means as an anti-throw move, it's weaker. I don't think they wanted people to just be able to jump, do anti-throw moves, and then nuke you. She got a ton of damage. Easier to whip punish crouching medium punch. Less pushback on crouching heavy kick, which is a change a bunch of characters got, making sweeps easier to punish. More drive gauge on regular cannon spike. She just like floats backwards and lands. Cammy trying to do hooligan low, and this doesn't get low profiled anymore. That's big. Ryu, forward heavy kick. It can now be canceled into a regular aerial tatsu. When you land this combo, you'll now be able to position yourself in a favorable spot. Crouching medium kick. We sped up the cancel timing into special moves, making it easier to combo from. Even when hitting it with the tip of the attack, you can safely string into a heavy Hadouken to force your opponent into a block string. The evil Ryu change. Crouching medium kick, heavy fireball. True string. And for light and medium Hadoukens, as long as you don't delay the cancel, an opponent's drive impact is no longer guaranteed to land. More drive gauge on his axe kick. Decrease the combo count on landing EX Hadouken, which is... This is good for him, right? Heavy blade, 2 frames faster, -3 on block, decrease knockdown time by 1 frame, and more drive gauge. These are great buffs for Ryu. And he got more damage on Hoshogeki. Oh my god, Ryu's sick in this version. I think Ryu is going to be really, 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 really good. You can do it so late. Dude, look at how much drive gauge you're stripping. And you're safe. In the corner, this into this is like, look at how much drive gauge that is. Edmund. Standing heavy punch can now calm into a regular Taiho cannon. Whoa, +1 on hits, nice. Course looking forward, kick, punch. Due to the improvements on the hitbox, this attack can now reach opponents from mid-range. And we made some changes so that he's in a better position when blocked. Ochio throw has faster startup, giving his throw game more oomph. He probably needed this, right? Yeah, it is the step, right? Expanded the hitbox on the first and second hits, reduced the hurtbox on the arms, reduced the hurtbox on the feet as well. So it's harder to hit it. And you can like step and then threaten. The punch follow-up has pushback on block and increased drive gauge. Do they want him to like play some Fuzi with like far button or like whatever into step? Change recovery on block on the second attack from plus... Oh, the EX one. Wow. Yeah, from +2 to +3. 6 frame command grab. These are really nice buffs. These are all good changes for Honda, I think. I don't know if you guys have seen the Honda discourse. Hikaru picking up Honda and becoming the best Honda like overnight. And all the Honda players are like, it's so weird. The way he plays Honda is by using all of his footsie buttons and playing patient. I'm astounded by his play. Like, he's playing footsies and playing defensive, and he's the highest ranked Honda with like 10 minutes of play. And I was like, you guys fucking suck. Okay. You couldn't have figured that out? You couldn't have found standing medium punch? Okay. With this update, Blanka doesn't have any major adjustments, but we did look at making the normal and special moves he used for controlling space easier to do. Forward medium kick. This was designed to avoid hitting low attacks, but the hurtbox around the feet were bigger than the standard size, so we reduced it to match other hitboxes. I didn't know that that was the intention of the moves, so that makes a lot of sense. Forward heavy punch. We felt that there's not much of a payoff when this attack lands normally, so we increased the knockdown time after it hits to allow Blanka to start offense easier. This move was sick on punish counter, but yeah, it was kind of ass on regular hit. You would land a regular hit and just be like... And that was kind of it, you know? These are nice changes. They make his mid-range better. Guile. Increase wall splat time by 3 frames on hit on OD Sonic Cross. I mean, Guile's one of the best characters in the game. He's very solid. Like, him not getting nerfed is huge. If you're a Guile player, those patch notes are crazy. You should be fucking doing backflips. Ken's appeal to players is great offense and the ability to bully opponents into the corner. But we felt that he was able to do this even on the defensive, which make his comeback potential too strong. To counter that, we looked at containing how much he can get out of his invincible attacks. They're like, why don't we just make it so these reversal options are good, but don't give you as absurd reward, right? To mitigate that a bit. We left the invincible attack as it is, but after it connects, it'll be more difficult to continue with pressure. And forward step kick is heavy during his quick dash. We've adjusted the hurt box, taking into consideration the low risk of the move due to light attacks, added initial scaling. Back throw has more distance after it lands. Reduced pushback on block from sweep. EXDP has decreased blowback time on hit. It's harder for him to get in there. Change drive gauge to give him more on heavy Jinrai, and then decrease blowback time on hit, decrease knockdown time on hit from level 1. He very often landed level 1 and just coming at you, just ran across the screen and beat your ass. These are reasonable nerfs, and like none of them are too crazy. They basically just make it a little harder for him to snowball from his own defense. Our main focus for Chun with this balance adjustment is to increase her combo options. Players will now have to read the situation and choose an appropriate option to get good ROI. ROI in patch notes? Oh, they gave Modern the stance. That is a huge buff to Modern Chun-Li, which is already one of the better Modern characters, I think. Standing heavy punch gives her more drive gauge. What? Snake strike, which is the slide she does out of her stance. Way faster. Wow. And drive gauge is more. Yeah, that's wild. Medium kick during Serenity Stream. Knockback time on hit reduced by 2 frames. This is to make it easier to juggle. And then Heavy Spinning Bird is 1 frame faster, increasing its usefulness in combos because it's going to hit multiple times. So she might have some new juggles and stuff off of it. Yeah, more damage, more corner carry, and probably better knockdown. So when she throw baits you like this. Zangief. Minor adjustments to throws that aren't used frequently and increasing the meter gain on his stomp. His down back throw, down throw, and forward throw give him more super gauge. Zangief's the same, basically. Sounds about right. I mean, he's really good in this version. They seem like reasonable changes. Sim, standing light punch and down back light kick. Rapid cancel timing and a crouching light punch is now faster, and on blocking won't trade. Oh, that's nice for him. Means he can defend himself or string you up easier when he has offense. Due to the rapid cancel timing for light attacks, it wasn't possible to connect with the combo standing light, crouching light, EX flame against a standing opponent point blank, so we made adjustments to cover that. Wow, he has better reward off his lights. This is really nice for Dhalsim. Standing heavy gives him more drive gauge. Crouching heavy gives him more drive gauge. EX yoga arc, relaxed detection from making projectiles disappear when they leave the camera's view. Oh, okay. And the collision push block now comes out 1 frame faster after teleporting. This change was done to mitigate situations where Dhalsim would be facing the wrong direction when the opponent is in the corner and Dhalsim tried to teleport behind them. Edward. What there? Oh, shit. Ed is a strong mid-range fighter, but many of his long-range attacks gave him a good return and proved to be too oppressing. For the balance adjustment, we reviewed the risks on these spacing tools that led to a lot of damage and slightly adjusted attacks and combos used when on the defensive, which will reduce his ability to turn the tide of battle when fighting in close quarters. Standing medium kick and crouching medium kick. We decided to increase the risk when the attack whiffs on both. Wow. Now on whiff, it's easier for opponents to take their turn, forcing Ed players to be more careful when throwing it out. I'm surprised. His standing medium kick already had a lot of recovery, I thought. The backwards kill rush. The hurt box during this technique is expanded forward, making Ed more susceptible to an attack. Does this kill like button into back kill rush to bait drive impact? It sounds like that's the intention. Crouching light kick. This attack featured great startup on range, and on hit it gave you a really nice return, which made it too good in defensive situations. With this adjustment, we made it so that crouching light kick can't hit again on counter hit. Huge nerf. EX Blitz. Considering how good the return is when this attack lands, we've made adjustments so that Ed can be counterattacked by a light when it's blocked. So it used to be -3, now I guess it's -4. So now you just have to hit confirm into it. Level 2, we made adjustments so that the drive gauge reduction for the opponent happens during the final stage of the attack. While the weakening of combos starting attacks doesn't change this damage, the opponent can now recover drive during long combos. This is a smart change. Instead of nerfing the level 2 such that he can't do all the cool shit, just make it so that his opponent's drive gauge doesn't get destroyed during this and he can still do the cool, fun stuff. I feel like the quality of these changes are all really high. I know sometimes you want more for your character. Easy to feel that way, but they have a lot of, they're pretty smart, huh? More drive gauge on forward heavy punch, flicker timing, change the timing when the hurt box extends forward from the point when moving to the attack. So Ed, a little bit weaker, but still probably one of the best mid-range characters in the game still. You could feel it. This does not combo anymore. This used to combo. And this is now unsafe on block. -4. Look at how much drive gauge Bison loses here. Oh, it's 1 brick at the end. Bison. We've tuned down M. Bison's ability to do high damage combos and to chip away at the opponent's drive gauge. His overall game plan hasn't changed greatly, but we look to adjust him so that he doesn't use his high-powered offense to bully his way in. Evil Knee. We reduce the amount of drive gauge the opponent loses when they block this attack. Because yeah, drive rush back heavy kick into back heavy kick has a gap you can mash on, but like, are you gonna mash on drive rush back heavy kick, bro? You're gonna mash on +5? The answer is no. Devil's reverse. This technique's ability to change its attack timing and trajectory made it difficult to deal with. And even if the opponent tried to hit Bison out of the air, there were too many situations where Bison could just avoid the attack and counter. To counter this, we've expanded the overall hurt box and the technique and shrunk the attack hitbox. Yeah, this thing was so annoying to anti-air. Even if you knew he's gonna fly up, wait, delay, then do it, and like you're correct about how he's gonna approach with it, it's like still pretty hard to hit. Made this more minus. Cool. Jumping light kick. Updated cross-up attack hitbox. Okay. Psycho Crusher, more drive gauge on these, but change drive gauge damage when it's embedded to like 400 less. Change drive gauge reduction on block to like half. EX knee press has more scaling, makes more sense. This has a bigger hurt box around his leggies. He's closer to you when the mine is on him, and he can like make his pressure a little bit better. Isn't this not exactly basically what we expected Bison to get? He strips less of your drive gauge. He does a little bit less damage. His neutral is a little worse because of the air approach, but his grounded neutral and other stuff is the same. I'd imagine his damage is still very, very, very high. It's still higher than most of the cast. Actually, this one looks... I can't lie, this looks like it's gonna do like 7k almost, but like 6,700 or something. Oh, I mean, alright, bro. So that's the patch. We went through all the characters. Overall, I think pretty cool patch. Luke, buffed. Jamie, buffed. Manon, buffed. Kimberly, buffed. Marisa, buffed. Lily, buffed. JP, buffed. Juri, kind of the same, honestly, right? Slight buffed. Dee Jay, buffed. Cammy, maybe some of the larger set of nerfs overall. Ryu, buffed. Honda, buffed. Blanka, slight buffs. Guile, the exact same. Ken, slight nerfs. Chun-Li buffed. Zangief, slight buffs. Very slight. They don't really matter that much. Dhalsim buffed a bit. Rashid, slight nerf, but not very much. A.K.I buffed, but not too big. Edward, he might be the most nerfed, I guess, huh? Maybe Akuma. These three all got nerfed. And Terry got buffed. I'll let everybody find all the cool stuff in the patch, and then we'll go and check it out tomorrow.